What's up? I'm Lily. Revenge Crown brings you the stories that keep you hooked. If that sounds good, smash subscribe and let's go. Projected the screen onto my living room television. The spreadsheet filled the 65-inch display with 10 years of data, color-coded and meticulously documented, every transaction, every loan, every broken promise. My parents sat on my couch, champagne glasses in hand, celebrating their 55th birthdays and their decision to retire 20 years early. My brother Derek stood by the fireplace, smirking like he'd just won something. "What is this?" Mom asked, squinting at the screen. "This," I said calmly, "is exactly how much this family has helped each other. I thought we should review it before discussing your retirement plan," the spreadsheet had a read. Mitchell Family Financial Transfers 2015 to 2025. Below it, rows and rows of entries, each with a date, amount, recipient, stated purpose, and repayment status. Dad set down his champagne. "Natalie, this isn't necessary." "It's completely necessary," I interrupted. "You said family helps family." "I agree, so let's look at the help." I clicked to the summary page. The numbers were stark. Natalie to parents, $127,500. Natalie to Derek, $48,000. Parents to Natalie, $0 parents to Derek, $186,000. Derek to Natalie, $0. "That can't be right," Derek said, stepping closer to the screen. "It's completely right," I said. "I have bank statements, canceled checks, Venmo records, and text message confirmations for every single transaction. Would you like to see the backup documentation?" "I have 3 binders organized by year." I gestured to the coffee table where 3 thick binders sat, each labeled with dates and categories: parental loans, Derek emergencies, family obligations. Mom's face had gone pale. "Natalie, those were gifts. We never asked you to track." "You're right, you never asked me to track them," I said. "You asked me to give them." "Let's review some examples, shall we?" I clicked to a new tab. The screen filled with text message screenshots. March 2019. I read aloud. "Mom, Nat, we're short $3,000 for property taxes. Can you help? We'll pay you back next month. I sent $3,000. Repayment date, never." Click. July 2020. Dad, the air conditioning died. We need $6,500 for a new unit. Just a loan until the insurance check comes. I sent $6,500. Insurance check. Apparently never arrived. Click. November 2021. Derek. Emergency. My car was totaled. Need $8,000 for a down payment on a new one. I swear I'll pay you back. I sent $8,000. Repayment still waiting. I looked at my brother. "Derek, how's that car running?" "I sold it," he muttered. "Upgraded to a truck. A $45,000 truck," I said. "Which you posted about extensively on social media, while still owing me $8,000. Mom stood up. "Natalie, this is incredibly hurtful. We're your family. You're treating us like we're criminals." "I'm treating you like people who owe me $175,500, I corrected. "Which is exactly what you are." Dad tried a different approach. "Sweetheart, we raised you. We fed you, clothed you, put a roof over your head. Don't you think you owe us something?" "I was a child," I said. "That was your legal obligation as parents. But let's talk about that too." I clicked to another tab. This one was titled Comparative Childhood Investments. These are estimates based on your tax returns, which I accessed through your accountant when I helped you file in 2023, I said. Derek's college, fully paid $140,000. My college, I paid via loans, currently at $87,000 after 10 years of payments. "You got scholarships," Derek protested. "I got scholarships because I worked for them," I shot back. "You got kicked out of 2 colleges for partying. Dad paid for both, plus the third one you finally graduated from." Click. Derek's first car at 16. $18,000. My first car at 16. I bought it myself for $3,000 working at Target. "You were more responsible," Mom said weakly. "We knew you could handle it. So you punished me for being responsible by making me pay for everything while Derek got handouts," I said. And that pattern continued into adulthood. Let's review Derek's adult support from you too, shall we? Another tab. Parental support to Derek 2015 to 2025. Down payment on his house. $50,000. Down payment on my house. I saved it myself. Derek needed help, Dad said.
He was struggling.
Derek was spending $800 a month on craft beer and concert tickets, I said. I know because he posted every purchase on social media. Meanwhile, I was working 60-hour weeks and eating ramen. I advanced to the next section. Derek's wedding. You contributed $40,000. My wedding. I paid for it myself. All $28,000. Because you said you'd already spent too much on Derek's and couldn't afford to help. Mom was crying now. You're being cruel. I'm being factual, I said. And we're not done. Let's talk about the help I've given that you've forgotten about. Click. When Dad had his heart surgery in 2018 and was out of work for 4 months, who paid your mortgage? I did. $8,400 total. Repayment status. You told me to consider it a gift for all you'd done for me. When Derek's wife left him in 2022 and he needed lawyer fees, who paid $12,000? I did. Derek promised to repay me as soon as the divorce was final. The divorce was final 18 months ago. When you decided to remodel your kitchen in 2023, who loaned you $25,000? I did. You promised to repay me when you sold the rental property. You sold the rental property 8 months ago for a $60,000 profit. I've received $0. The room was silent except for Mom's quiet crying. Derek found his voice. So what, you want us to pay you back? We don't have that kind of money. Interesting, I said. Because according to your social media posts, Dad, you just bought a $35,000 boat. And Mom, you've been posting about the European cruise you're planning for your retirement. Cost. Approximately $18,000 according to the cruise line's website. How dare you spy on us? Dad said, his face reddening. It's not spying when you post it publicly on Facebook, I replied. But let's get to the main event. You came here tonight to tell me you're retiring early and I'll be handling the bills. What bills specifically? Mom wiped her eyes. Your father and I are done working. We've decided to enjoy our lives. But our retirement accounts aren't quite where they need to be because you've spent recklessly for 40 years. I interrupted. And we'll need help with our mortgage, utilities, car payments, and insurance until we can start drawing Social Security at 62. That's 7 years, I said. What's the monthly total? Dad cleared his throat. About $4,500 a month. I let the silence stretch. $4,500 a month for 7 years. Family helps family, Derek said, parroting our father. You're absolutely right, I said. So here's how this is going to work. I clicked to a new document. This one was titled, Repayment Agreement and Terms. This is a legally binding contract drafted by my attorney. It itemizes every dollar you owe me, includes interest at the standard rate of 6% per annum, and establishes a repayment plan. Natalie, be reasonable, Mom started. I am being reasonable, I said. The total amount owed, including interest, is $198,450. You have 2 options. Option 1, immediate payment in full. Option 2, monthly payments of $3,500 for 5 years. We can't afford that, Dad said. Then sell the boat, I replied. Downsize your house, cancel the cruise, get part-time jobs. Do what millions of Americans do when they owe money. Sacrifice and pay it back. Or what? Derek challenged. You'll sue your own parents? Yes, I said simply. I will. I have documentation for every transaction. I have text messages promising repayment. I have witnesses who've heard you promise to pay me back. My attorney says this is the most clear-cut debt collection case he's seen in 20 years. I pulled out another document. This is a cease and desist letter for Derek. You are prohibited from asking me for money in any form. Violation will result in immediate legal action. You can't do this to us, Mom sobbed. I can, and I am, I said. For 10 years I've been the family ATM. For 10 years. You've taken and taken and taken while giving everything to Derek. I'm done. My father stood up, his face purple with rage. We're your parents. We brought you into this world. You owe us everything. I owe you exactly $0, I said. I'll never sign that, Dad said. Then I'll see you in court, I replied. And I'll win. And the judge will garnish your wages and your Social Security when you start collecting it. Your choice. They left. Derek slammed my door so hard a picture fell off the wall. I sat on my couch, surrounded by binders of documentation, and felt nothing but relief. The next morning, my phone exploded. Texts from aunts and uncles telling me I was ungrateful. Facebook messages from cousins calling me selfish. My mother's best friend left a voicemail saying I should be ashamed of myself. I blocked them all. 48 hours later, my attorney called. They're willing to negotiate. No negotiation, I said. Full repayment or court. They're offering $50,000 as a settlement to close the matter. That's a quarter of what they owe me, I said. No. 3 days later, I filed suit. The case number was CV202544721, Mitchell v. Mitchell. The local legal community buzzed about it, the forensic accountant who sued her own parents for debt collection. The preliminary hearing was scheduled for 6 weeks later. My parents hired an attorney who tried to argue that family loans were gifts and therefore not enforceable. My attorney buried him in documentation. Every text message with the word loan, every promise of repayment, every email discussing payback terms. 3 witnesses, my best friend, my ex-boyfriend, and my neighbor testified they'd heard my parents promise to repay me. The judge, a woman in her 60s named Patricia Holbrook, reviewed the evidence for 20 minutes before speaking. I've been on the bench for 18 years, she said. I've never seen such clear-cut documentation of debt. My father tried to argue. Judge Holbrook cut him off. Sir, I'm also deeply troubled by the pattern I see here. Your daughter has documentation showing she has given you $175,500 over 10 years while receiving nothing in return. Meanwhile, your son has received $186,000 from you. This speaks to favoritism so extreme it borders on financial abuse of your daughter. We didn't abuse her, Mom protested. You conditioned her to believe her worth was measured by her willingness to fund your lifestyle, Judge Holbrook said. That's economic coercion. Be grateful your daughter is only seeking repayment and not filing for emotional distress damages. The payment plan was established, $3,500 per month for 5 years. My parents had to sell the boat. They had to cancel the cruise. My father had to take a job as a consultant. My mother started working retail. Derek called me a month after the judgment. You destroyed them, he said. They destroyed themselves, I replied. I just stopped enabling it. They're your parents. And they treated me like an ATM for a decade while you got everything handed to you, I said. Tell me, Derek, how much do you owe me? He was silent. That's what I thought, I said, and hung up. The first payment arrived on time. So did the second, then the third. By the 6th payment, the anger had faded into a routine. This was just business now. A year after the judgment, my mother sent a letter. It came through my attorney as required by the restraining order I'd obtained after she showed up at my workplace crying and causing a scene. The letter was 3 pages long. How hurt she was. How I'd chosen money over family. How she'd never forgive me for humiliating them in court. I read it once, filed it away, and didn't respond. 80 months into the payment plan, Derek's wife had a baby. My parents posted pictures on social media gushing about their first grandchild. No mention of me, their other daughter who'd funded their lifestyle for a decade. I sent a gift card to Derek and his wife. Not because of my parents, but because the baby was innocent in all this. 2 years into the payment plan, my father had a health scare. My aunt called to tell me he was in the hospital with pneumonia. You should visit him, she said. He's your father. He's also someone who owes me $140,000, I said. The payment plan continues regardless of his health. You're heartless, she said. I'm protected, I replied. My father recovered. The payments continued. 3 years into the payment plan, my mother tried a different approach. She sent a birthday card not directly to me but through my attorney. Inside was a note. I'm sorry we failed you. I hope someday you can forgive us. I put the card in the file with everything else. Forgiveness wasn't the point. Consequences were. 4 years into the payment plan, Derek filed for bankruptcy. He overextended himself buying a house he could afford and a truck with a $900 monthly payment. My parents couldn't help him. All their extra money went to my repayment. He called me desperate. Natalie, please. Can you loan me $20,000? Just until I get back on my feet. I laughed. Actually laughed. Derek, you still owe me $48,000 from previous loans. The answer is no. I'm your brother. You're someone who's never paid me back a single dollar in your entire life, I said. Figure it out yourself. He lost the house, moved in with my parents. I felt nothing. 5 years after the judgment, the final payment cleared my account. $198,450, paid in full. Plus court costs and attorney fees, my parents had paid approximately $215,000 total. My attorney sent a satisfaction of judgment to the court. The case was closed. My parents sent one final letter. It didn't come through my attorney this time. They no longer had to communicate through legal channels. It came directly to my mailbox. We've paid what you demanded. We hope you're satisfied. You've gotten your money, but you've lost your family. Was it worth it? I sat on my porch, holding the letter, thinking about the question. Was it worth it? I thought about the decade of being taken for granted. The decade of being told I was selfish when I asked for repayment. The decade of watching Derek get everything while I got nothing. The decade of my accomplishments being dismissed while his failures were funded. I thought about the peace I'd felt for the past 5 years. No guilt trips, no emergency phone calls. No expectations that I'd sacrifice my financial security for people who saw me as a resource. I thought about the house I'd bought, the retirement account I'd funded, the life I'd built all without their interference. Yes, it was absolutely worth it. I tore up the letter and went inside. Tomorrow, I had a meeting with a financial advisor about early retirement planning. I was 45, financially secure, and completely free from family obligations. They'd taught me that family helps family. And I'd shown them exactly what that help had cost me, and what it cost them when they had to pay it back. I never spoke to them again. And I slept perfectly at night.